really was thinking about just the relationships between men and women and equality and inequality and my personal opinions on feminism and how feminism sometimes misconstrued as something that it's not, and how sometimes it can turn into male bashing. So thinking about all that, I was recently watching, I was online on YouTube, and I love Beyonce, right? So I've been waiting for her to put out something new, and she recently put out a new song, and it was a remix of Savage with Megan the Stallion, excuse me.
Correct.
So right, I gotta get it right.
Hold on. Do you like Megan the Stallion actually?
I honestly, bro,
Or do you like Beyonce?
What's crazy is I like both of them. When I tell you that, like, I didn't know who Megan the Stallion was until but I knew that song. What's that song? Big Old Freak? Mm-hmm. I knew that song. That reminds me of the 90s for some reason. It's super ratchet. Look at Emily's face. She's like, I have no clue what they're talking about.
I don't either. I know who Megan the Stallion is.
Right, but Megan the Stallion. Okay.
I said
THEE.
Oh, you mean extreme emphasis on the.
Yes. That's why she did
the. So you can't say the. You have to say the.
You can't.
Because she's Megan the Stallion.
Well, we already got a second fan.
I didn't say I was a fan. I was just correcting. English major.
I basically was watching it and online, and they had a remix to their Savage that came out, and I was all about it. But it came out at the same time as this other song came out. I'm mad I don't remember the name of the song. I'm gonna look it up. It was a song with Nicki Minaj and Doja Cat. Does anyone know the name of that song?
Say So?
I think it is Say So. I think it is.
Yeah.
But when it came out, as soon as it came out, I saw a post on YouTube. This single outsells, like the Nicki Minaj single outsold the Beyonce single. And my first instinct was like, why did that have to happen? Like, out of everything that's on the Billboard charts, why did those two songs have to be the ones pit against each other? And it was probably black people that did it. Instead of it being like, why can't Doja Cat and Nicki Minaj and Beyonce and Megan Thee Stallion have a single that does well at the same time? So essentially, my first question to you all is, it's not really a form of a question, it's an idea. Do y'all feel like it is more competitive for black women in the industry, in the competitive industries, i.e. the entertainment industry and those kind of things? How do y'all feel about that? Jump in when you want.
Okay. I'll start.
Okay.
I feel like as far as, specifically hip hop in the black community, that's your question?
Yeah, I'm sorry. It is Say So. I was looking it up. Yeah, specifically, I'll just say, I personally feel like black women are pit against each other in a harsher way. Maybe not harsher is the word, but there's clearly more competition that comes across in that industry than any of the other ones. Like, you have white girls who are sometimes pit against each other. I think it never happens with white dudes. And then there's with black dudes, but it's generally like, Usher, Chris Brown. Those are only two R&B people I know of like that. But I think it's worse for black women. I feel like black women, specifically in hip hop, when they come out, there's like this idea that there can only be one hot black girl in that industry.
I could agree with you on that, but I also want you to know that hip hop and R&B, especially hip hop, has always been competitive, man or female.
And I disagree. Why do you say that?
Well, think about it, man. My favorite group, Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Okay.
There was beef started with them and 3 6 Mafia. They will always bring up some type of, you're biting my style, you were trying to sound like me. And then if you think about, because hip hop started on the East Coast, New York City, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
And it started from battle rapping, right?
Right.
But before it was battle rapping,
right,
it was breakdancing. Remember?
You see the...
I did.
I liked it.
Think about it now. Certain gangs, not street gangs like shoot 'em up, bang, bang, they was dancing.
Yeah.
And they had their shirts on, all the same colors.
Yeah.
And it wasn't no, I'm gonna knock you out, I'm gonna out dance you. Am I correct?
Right.
So that's why I say the competition has always been there.
I guess to me, it's not the competition that's the problem, because
that was your question.
That's what I'm about to clarify. Because there's no business, especially in America, in the world, that's not competitive. You know what I'm saying? There's no business like hell, McDonald's compete with Burger King. You feel me? It's not the competition. I'm talking about the fact of it is like when this new female artist come out, you gotta go. That's what it feels like in female hip hop. It's not like, because Bone Thugs and Harmony and 3 6 Mafia, to me, both had equal success. See what I'm saying?
Right.
Those are two bands that, even though they had beef, competition, it wasn't like 3 6 Mafia came out and just bow to the other one. Right. And I feel like the only time that that's happened, and I mean, I'm not going to say that this is really what happened, but it seems like over the last 10 years, there's only one female hip hop artist that was at a certain level of success, and that was Nicki. And,
I think I see what you're saying.
And as soon as Nicki came out, go ahead.
Like sort of like the whole TLC versus Black or TLC versus 3LW.
Well, TLC didn't verse Black. TLC founded Black. Black was founded by Lisa Left Eye Lopez. Her brother knew the rapper Natina in that group, and that's how that all happened. Girl groups, even in the 90s, they were less competitive. Of course, we as fans were like, oh, this is my favorite, that's my favorite. But it wasn't like, oh, this girl group's here, everybody got to go. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like, why is it that in that industry, why is it worse for Black female hip hop artists than other industries?
I don't know why it's worse. Like, I can't specify because I think it's a lot of variables. I think that not only do you have like record labels involved in it, because at the very top, they're obviously the people who have Rihanna signed versus the people who have Beyonce signed, obviously want their artists to do better. Mm-hmm. And they're going to push it, and they're going to push that narrative of our artist does more, our artist is more, our artist can only be the artist. Mm-hmm. It's also the fans. You know, social media has a huge emphasis on it. You know, it's gotten crazy over the years, and people have get up on their platforms and they die for their favorite artist, and, you know, and I'll cuss you out if you don't absolutely agree with everything that I say about my artist.
Right.
I think that I do agree that it's not really, I see what you're saying. It's not really like, why is it not just a comparison versus a competition? Like with male artists, I won't even just say Black artists, but like all artists, you'll be like, okay, well, it was, you know, in the 90s, it was like Christina versus Britney, or like the early 2000s. No one really said that Christina or Britney was better. It was just a comparison. And you had your preference, you know.
And they both had equally full careers.
You know, or you was over here in left field, like in Jessica Simpson. Whereas now it's more like, oh, either you love Beyonce and you're team Beyonce all day, or, you know, you love Nicki Minaj, or you love like Nicki Minaj and who's the other one you were saying? Doja Cat and their song, and then Beyonce and Megan Thee Stallion their song. Both songs came out at the same time, 2 equally good songs. However, you're never going to see them on the charts being like, oh my God, the comparison is cool. They have 2 different great ideas, 2 different great collabs. No, it's the push for the competition. And I don't know, like I said, I don't know why it's so specific to women. Mm-hmm. I feel like I don't see that in male artists. I see them, oh, Nas kind of sounds like Jay-Z, you know, Lil Wayne, you know, he got his influence from Biggie, but it's not a competition between them. You can have your favorites, but everybody kind of like just settles on, oh, they're just good artists. So we'll just let them all be in the pot together. And they don't do that with girls. And I don't know why.
Yes, they do. I disagree. Because Foxy Brown and Lil Kim, they didn't do that with Foxy Brown and Lil Kim. But they were in the same pot. But they were both rappers, because y'all are sort of blending R&B singers with women that come out as rappers.
Mm-hmm. But they do compare Lil Kim and Nicki Minaj, even though they're 2 different eras of hip hop.
That's the key.
But why compete them? Why can't they just be in the pot together? Like, oh,
because
Lil Kim sounds good and Nicki sounds good.
This is why you have a certain time frame as an artist to rule the industry. And they did that because they're saying, can Nicki Minaj bump off Lil Kim?
Do you know why I disagree with that? And I hate the rider, or I hate the rider like this, but Beyonce is the proof that that's not the case. Beyonce is pushing 40, bruh, and she can still be hot and be the hottest. Yet look at all the female singers that have come behind her and had success without her having to leave or knock them off.
Well, I got a question. I mean, the thing that comes to mind is what Alex was saying earlier about the record labels pushing these feuds. And I wonder if it's not necessarily saying that we're trying to knock, Beyonce off the throne and take over, as much as you got this person who's coming up who doesn't have the mass appeal, but has the talent or whatever. So let's put her in a rivalry with, someone who's up here so that she gets the notoriety, gets the popularity, and maybe she doesn't dethrone the other person, but that puts her at the level.
Can I ask you a question?
That be it?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. Emily, you were going to say something. Go ahead.
I think, if you look at sports, okay, where by nature it's always competitive.
Right.
Fans of sports are famously, insane and are willing to pay ridiculous sums of money to buy tickets to games and stuff like that, and merchandise, all that kind of stuff. And I mean, I almost wonder if maybe what some of these up tops in the music industry are trying to do is sort of profit off that same model of getting people, because once it's me against you, that's when extremism starts, and that's when you get people willing to spend more money than they would have and willing to all that kind of stuff. So if you ask me, it's just capitalism, and that women being catfights are entertaining in a way that men fighting each other isn't. Not that men fighting each other isn't entertaining, boxing or whatever, but there's just something about two girls going at each other that people find stimulating, I guess.
Well, Emily, with that point that you just mentioned, they did the same thing, the cat fight, literally, with Jay-Z and Nas. They literally did it with Prince and Michael Jackson. Mm-hmm. So you can't just say, well, not you particularly, Dureyea, it's not just to females only. It's capitalism. And I agree with Emily on and I agree also with Alex. I don't disagree with you, Dureyea. I'm really just saying it does happen with males. And with Emily saying capitalism, and then I'm losing my train of thought with Alex. She said something specific, but the point is, it's a part of the game.
I get
Tupac and Biggie, they did it with them.
Yeah, and I knew you were going to bring that up. Here's my thing. I don't think that these feuds and rhyme, because I get it. What they say about news or publicity, is that what they say? No, there's no bad
publicity.
Yeah, there's no bad publicity, because if your name is out there, you're relevant. People love you. I get that.
I disagree. There is bad publicity.
I feel like it depends on what you do with it. A good friend of mine, Olivia Pope, she always told me when she could take a situation and flip that mother real quick. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, in this industry, especially entertainment industry, I actually heard someone recently say that the one thing about America is that we are a nation that will definitely give you a second chance. We're a nation built on second chances. So, yes, so in the scheme of everything. Even if you do something bad publicly, people are going to want to see you do better. They're going to see you take from that bad situation and make it better. So my idea is that I get what you're talking about, the capitalism and the money making, but I just feel like there's a thin line between that and what happens in our community, specifically the Black community, where we have to tear each other down to get ahead, or the whole crabs in a barrel thing. So
I think it's also era. Go ahead.
One more thing. The reason I say that is because it goes back to the empire versus power thing. Those were really two different shows. Why did they have to be pit against each other so much so? You know what I'm saying? And if you want to say it's for publicity, that's okay. And I think that's okay for certain minds, especially the minds that are aware of that it's just for publicity. But I think there's a lot of people who aren't aware of that, and they buy into those beefs. They feel that that's real, and then they become that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think I see what you're saying. Basically, you got to understand that when you say America gives people second chances,
Mm-hmm.
we also like battles and duels. For example, people, let's take entertainment out of it. People do the same thing with United States presidents.
Yeah.
They compare you. And in this country, we like conflict. That's just my opinion.